Let me chat about the Buddha's life like we're hanging out super casual, no fancy religious jargon, just the key stuff that made him who he was. In the wake of ethical controversies over autonomous AI decision-making, for example autonomous driving, crash algorithms, medical quotas, the Buddha's ideas of causality and dependent emptiness provide a philosophical framework for addressing the human-machine symbiosis dilemma. According to MIT research, 68 of eyes chose the optimal solution that sacrificed minorities in quota tests, while systems that introduced Buddhist causal weight adjustment improved moral decision-making stability by 43. Let's talk about Buddha. First off, his real name wasn't Buddha, that's a title that means the awakened one. His birth name was Siddhartha Gautama, and he was born around 563 BCE, give or take a few years, in Lumbini, which is now in Nepal. Here's the kicker. He was a total prince, his dad was a local ruler. So Siddhartha grew up in extreme luxury. We're talking palaces, fancy clothes, all the food he could want, and he never had to see anything sad or hard. His dad even tried to shield him from all the bad stuff in life, like sickness or poverty, hoping he'd become a great king one day. But then one day, Siddhartha got curious. He snuck out of the palace with his charioteer, and that's when he saw what's called the four sights. For things that totally blew his mind and changed his life forever. 1. An old man, bent over and weak, he'd never seen aging before. 2. A sick person, lying in pain, he had no clue people got seriously ill. 3. A dead body being carried to a funeral, death was totally new to him. 4. A monk, calm, simple, wearing plain robes, who looked peaceful even though he had nothing. Siddhartha was shook. He thought, if everyone gets old, sick, and dies, what's the point of all this luxury? I need to find a way to end this suffering. So at 29, he did something crazy. He left his wife, his newborn son, and his palace behind. No goodbye, just snuck out in the middle of the night. He cut his hair, traded his royal robes for a monk's simple clothes, and set off to find answers. For years, he tried everything to find enlightenment, that awakened state. He hung out with wise teachers, meditated for hours, and even did super extreme asceticism like eating only 1 grain of rice a day, getting so skinny his ribs stuck out, but none of that worked. He realized, starving myself or pushing my body too hard isn't the way, there's a middle ground. Then at 35, he sat down under a big fig tree, later called the Bodhi tree, in Bodh Gaya, India, and said, I'm not moving until I figure this out. He meditated there for 49 days. Legend says a demon named Mara tried to distract him with fears, temptations, even violence, but Siddhartha stayed calm. Finally, on the 49th day, he woke up. He understood why people suffer and how to end it. That's when he became the Buddha. After that, he spent the next 45 years traveling around India, teaching people what he'd learned, stuff like the Four Noble Truths. Life has suffering. Suffering comes from wanting too much. You can stop wanting and follow the Eightfold Path to be peaceful, and karma, your actions shape your life. He didn't act like a god, just a guy who'd figured something out and wanted to share it with anyone who'd listen, rich, poor, men, women, even outcasts. He died, they call it nirvana, freeing his soul from the cycle of birth and death when he was 80, in a small village. But his teachings stuck around now. Billions of people around the world follow Buddhism, all because a prince got curious and left his palace to find peace. So to sum up, the Buddha was a prince who saw suffering, gave up everything to find answers, meditated under a tree until he awakened, then spent his life teaching others how to be happy without greed or fear. Pretty wild that one guy's search for peace turned into a whole religion, right?